Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Busted. The squad has been busted. The disingenuous Democrats, known as the members of the squad in Congress, have been exposed for exactly what we all knew they are, hypocrites. Except this time, we have the receipts. We just covered the story of Maxine Waters heading over to Minneapolis to protest the police and to incite a crowd to call for violence if they don't get the murder charges that they were seeking. And we called out the hypocrisy of her waging her war against police officers as, of course, she requests an in-and-out police armed escort to protect her as she crossed state lines. But you know what? Maxine Waters may be the loudest, may be the most ridiculous, but she's not the worst when it comes to pushing anti-police rhetoric. The squad is. But get this, we have the receipts. When you're a member in Congress, how you spend your money is tracked. I mean, it's taxpayer dollars after all. And we have every single dime that each member of the squad has spent on police escorts and protection. The communities that they claim to serve are not allowed to have protection. They're not allowed to have guns, police, you name it. At least that's the perspective from the left-wing squad. Squad members, however, hold themselves to a different standard, to say the least. I also want to get into this whole abolish police thing in respect to what happened yesterday with the Derek Chauvin verdict. We got a lot to get into, a lot of craziness, but before we do, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We're still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright, so here's the headliner piece from Becker News, written by Kyle Becker. Busted. New receipts exposed the squad as complete frauds on defund the police. The squad has been the face of America's disastrous defund the police effort, but for millions of Americans, the argument that stripping resources from police officers, especially for more training, never made any sense. It turns out that it didn't make any sense for the 4 members of the squad either. When it came to their personal safety, newly uncovered documents from the FEC that were brought to light by the Daily Caller's Henry Rogers show that hypocrisy is a Democrat way of life. Don't we know it on this channel? Members of the progressive Democrat group in Congress called the Squad, who have been pushing to defund the police, spent thousands of dollars on private security for themselves. According to the Federal Election Commission records reviewed by the Daily Caller, Rogers reported on Monday. FEC reports show Democrat New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, Massachusetts Representative Ayanna Pressley, and Missouri Representative Cori Bush spent thousands of dollars on their private security. The payments were described in the FEC filing as security or security services. The Daily Caller breaks down the security expenditures for each congresswoman. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, January, February, March, $3,000 per month on a security consultant based out of Brooklyn. A total of $9,000 for 3 months of security consulting from one company alone. On January 25th, 2021, Ocasio spent $24.2 thousand on security. On the 19th, nearly $4,000. February 2nd, $850. February 25th, $1,552 at 24/7 Security and Investigations Inc., which her office said was for a security detail in Houston. Representative Ilhan Omar has multiple expenditures, but I'd say the least out of the crew. Only once on February 26th for about $2,700 on security services, so probably the least hypocritical. Ayanna Pressley, January 26, 2021, $1,292. On the 27th, $1,267. March 4th, $675. 9th, $252. And the 19th, $700. Representative Cori Bush, who's a brand new member of Congress and is already racking a ridiculous amount of spending and is also a very loud voice for abolishing the police. January 18th, $1,060. The 21st, $5,000. January 25th, $530. 17th, $7,743. February 25th, $5,000. February 26th, $5,812. March 15th, $5,000. March 15th, again, $2,456. The absolute hypocrisy of the radical left. They want to take guns away from law-abiding citizens because, from their purview, law-abiding citizens don't have the right, don't have their humanistic right, at least from my perspective, or their Second Amendment granted right to protect themselves, their household, and their family. But guess what? Congresswomen can have entire private security details armed to the T to protect them everywhere they go because they're part of an elite ruling class and you're not invited to the party. They want to take police and strip police within the exact communities that are suffering most when it comes to street-level crime. Police officers and detectives who have been slandered in the modern day of politics as the enemy of these communities. People who each and every single day go out there to investigate and solve crimes and apprehend violent criminals, take them off of the streets to the benefit of society and especially these vulnerable communities. They want to take them out, defund them, reduce their training. Why? Because it doesn't affect them. It's exactly what we saw with the leader of Black Lives Matter, Patrisse Khan-Cullors. It's very easy for her to say defund the police. It's very easy crazy for her to push this ridiculous rhetoric when she's living in Topanga Canyon, a place with an almost non-existent crime rate far outside of Los Angeles. And now, of course, the leftist mob got the verdict that they want. You might think it's a win, but of course not. They want more, and more as they continue to amplify and push forward their battle to actually abolish the police. Initially, it was defund the police, but it's escalated to abolish, thanks to Rashida Tlaib and others. I mean, just following the Twitter hashtag, we shouldn't have to celebrate the verdict in a trial in which we all saw this man and someone else's life. We shouldn't have to be relieved. It shouldn't have been up for debate. We saw it. Save your celebrations. There's work to do. Hashtag abolish the police. Now let's do the 999 other cops that killed someone last year. Hashtag abolish the police. Context doesn't matter. If you are a police officer and if you were involved in a police shooting, from their perspective, you're presumed guilty by virtue of being a police officer. The Twitter mob is expanding. This idea of abolishing the police is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're gaining political traction, as crazy as that may seem. Of course, they're going to politicize what just happened and try to expand their activist goals further and further and further. And so what do you think is going to happen? Their rhetoric is going to get more and more and more extreme. There's going to be a serious push for abolishing the police as we go forward. Unfortunately, what a lot of Twitter activists don't seem to realize is that they're being used by a Democrat establishment that doesn't actually care about their safety. They support their causes, but don't follow it themselves. What does that tell you? It tells you that they think abolishing the police is ridiculous, but it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect their neighborhoods. So who cares? I mean, if you guys need proof that the Democrats are just taking advantage of this social justice movement, then no further proof than this is needed. Look at what Nancy Pelosi said right after the verdict had been met in the Derek Chauvin case.
So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe.
Is that not completely ridiculous? Nancy Pelosi is essentially thanking George Floyd for losing his life in the battle for presumed social justice, turning him into a martyr and once again perpetuating the same notion of us versus them, the evil police officers versus the innocent victim. Of course, no mention of the countless, and I mean countless, thousands of innocent Americans who lose their lives each and every day to senseless violence in all of these communities. And of course, police officers being the last line of defense for those people. No one's going to talk about that. What about the countless innocent lives that are lost in Chicago each and every single day? Democrats don't care about that. It doesn't get the crowd riled up. It doesn't allow them to use these activist movements as a proxy marketing campaign to then, of course, fundraise millions upon millions of dollars to energize their base to go out there and vote and support them and allow them to win elections and maintain their stranglehold on power. It's a total lack of empathy, a manipulation tactic from the Democrat elite. They don't care and they hold themselves to a different standard. And speaking of that exact idea, another Democrat who got caught, it's not just the squad, this one a little bit of a different scenario, but it proves the same point. Rules for thee, but not for me. Gretchen Whitmer sneaks off to Florida to visit her dad, ignoring her own suggestion. Many people will say, I mean, Michigan has probably the strongest, most draconian COOF lockdown measures and restrictions, and many people will say, well, she was going to visit her dad, something might have happened, there must have been a reason, it must have been important for her to go visit her father, which, okay, sure, but that doesn't justify the fact that Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan, is allowed to visit her father, but you're not. Regular citizens from Michigan are told that they must stay in place, and they shouldn't travel out of state. Gretchen Whitmer doesn't think twice. Then, of course, Gretchen Whitmer's staff members going on spring break. It just goes to show how little they actually care. They don't care about the double standard of justice in the legal system that they claim to care about. They want to replace one perceived double standard of justice with another that fits their political rhetoric. They don't care about the double standards that affect different classes or different groups of people. They don't care about the double standards that they themselves take advantage of, calling to abolish the police while having private security detail. They don't care about shutting your business down as they collect their paycheck each and every single day and haven't missed a single one since this whole COOF thing started. They don't care about locking you in your house and advising that you go to the grocery store and immediately go back home and do absolutely nothing else. As they go to restaurants, they travel out of state, they visit their family, they even go on vacation in some of the most egregious cases we've seen, and it all culminates to one specific notion, one idea, one concept. They just don't care. They pretend to care, but they don't, really. And that, my friends, can be described in one specific word: politician. That's the video that I got for you guys on this one. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. I gotta get back to work, however. I want to thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the next one.